going on, everybody? I'm Enrique Pinheiro, and welcome back to the Hawk Show Talk Show, a Seattle Seahawks podcast. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and I also post news and highlights about the channel on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. My handle on those platforms is at Hawk Show Talk Show. If you want to follow or keep up, there you go. I'd also like to make the announcement that I've finally flipped the camera so you can see that the 12th man flag is finally correct. The Seahawks logos are correct, and now DK's jersey says Metcalf and not whatever it said before. So yeah, just a little bit of change. I think it looks much better. Hope you guys like it. And in today's episode, we're gonna be discussing all the free agents from other teams specifically that I would like to. I'm going to address them, and I'll talk about which ones I'd like to bring to Seattle, hopefully, and which ones they're big names, but I don't see it happening. And obviously, there's all going to be positions of need. We're not going to be looking at any quarterbacks, any safeties, any linebackers. Actually, maybe some linebackers. It depends what happens with KJ. Anyways, let's get right into it. Let's talk some Hawk. So first, I'm going to cover offense, our positions of need. The obvious ones are center and left guard. Those are the only two on the O-line. I trust Dwayne Brown, Damian Lewis, and Brandon Shell and the other three. Wide receiver 3 and tight end, and that's because I think Russell needs more weapon. Well, Russell has two. He has two excellent weapons, but I would love to see a third. I'd love to see either a solid wide receiver 3 or a solid tight end. Ideally both, but that's probably not going to happen. So if we could have, because I love David Moore. I hope we re-sign him. Hope we get him as a wide receiver 4. But I'd like a solid guy as our wide receiver 3 or as a tight end. And then running back, because as much as I love him, as much as I'd like to see him stay in Seattle, I don't think we're going to re-sign Chris Carson. So we'll see what happens with that. To start off, center. The love of this position would be Cory Linsley. He's obviously probably the best center in the league, and he's a free agent right now in the season that we need to make the biggest moves because Russell is obviously unhappy. So I would pay him 13, 14, 15 mil. I think he'd be great. Imagine Russell with a nice center. Hasn't had a good one since Max Unger, really. I think he'd be great. If we can't get him, Alex Mack is another guy I think would be real nice to have. He's old. He's older. He's 30-something. Cory Linsley's in his late 20s. So he wouldn't be as ideal, but I still think Alex Mack would be a nice upgrade, a nice someone to have. And then there's Ben Garland, I believe, from the 49ers. He's solid. He's like middle of the pack. And then there's the Martin guy that the Texans just released, someone else who would be decent, nice to have. For left guard, ideally we'd get Joe Thuney. That'd be awesome. I don't know if it'll happen. I think center is a bigger need than left guard, but if we could get Thuney and Linsley, just imagine that'd be great. For other left guards, Brandon Sheriff's also amazing and young as well. And then there's middle of the road guys like Quentin Spain, Forrest Lamp. We could look at stuff. Also, I know DJ Fluke is a free agent. He's not amazing, but I just know he'd like to come back to Seattle. And he was a fan favorite. He's really funny. So maybe I'd be cool with having him back, but he's not that good. But he'd be cheap. So I guess the loves of O-line, if we get Cory Linsley and Joe Thuney, just imagine that. Next, wide receiver 3, more fun position to talk about because we actually know most of these guys. I have a long list here. I'll be covering all of them, and a lot of them, they're really long shots. Like I started with Dez. Seahawks aren't going to sign Dez. I love Dez in real life. I don't think he fits what we need right now. I hope he signs a contract next year and shines because I think he's still got a little left in the tank, but I don't think it's going to be in Seattle. Same goes for A.J. Green. I love A.J. Green. I'm a big A.J. Green guy, but I don't think we really need him here in Seattle. I hope he goes somewhere and succeeds. I hope he has a much better season than the last season, but I don't think it's going to be here. Then Allen Robinson and Kenny Golladay are two great wide receivers, but they're not what we need right now because as they're probably the best two wide receivers in this list. Them and Chris Godwin. I'll cover Chris Godwin as well right now. All three of those guys are elite wide receivers, but we do not need an elite wide receiver that's going to be paid upwards of 15, around 15 mil, whatever, just to be our third target. We don't need that right now, as great as they are. Then someone I do love, I think that we should really look at is John Ross because, I'd love to keep him in Seattle, or I'd love to bring him back to Seattle. Sorry. He's got a ton of potential, super fast. Obviously, he's kind of injury prone, but I feel like everyone's injury prone these days. And yeah, obviously he's a fan favorite of mine. I'd love to see him. He has a ton of potential. He's shown signs of being a possible wide receiver like one. I don't know if I'd say wide receiver one, but like a starter who could consistently help the team out. And I'd like to see him as a wide receiver three. Then I got Tim Patrick. It's probably not going to happen. Doesn't We don't really need that. He's not that good either. Marvin Jones, I think he'll get signed somewhere. He'll definitely get signed somewhere, and I think he'll get paid a decent amount. But it's not what we really need right now. T.Y. Hilton, he's old. Same thing with Des and AJ Green, and I think he'll be staying in Indianapolis anyways because he's in his whole career there. Why leave now? Sammy Watkins, I don't see it happening either. I think he'll stay on the Chiefs because he likes getting rings, and I don't know. I don't think he'll pop off week one and then disappear. Is my guess for this year. Josh Gordon, I would have loved him. I would love Josh Gordon, but he is on the Zappers now. So congratulations to you and Johnny Money Flash. Juju, no thank you. No gracias. I do not want Juju near the Seahawks. Even though he's actually pretty decent and nobody talks about it because he's so annoying. He is so annoying. He's not worth it. I cannot stand him. Like, dancing on the logos, that's just cringy. And then some of his TikToks are a little, dancing in your underwear on the kitchen counter, or trying to eat James Conner's butt as a cake. I don't know. He's too far for me. However, I feel like Pete would be the type of guy, like Juju would be the type of guy that Pete would like, just kind of like his energy and his good mojo in the locker room. But I would not want that. Brashad Perriman, not too bad. I don't think I'd want him, but he had a great season with the Bucks, and then he was meh last year. But he's also on the Jets, so it's not entirely his fault. Philip Dorsett, he's out we had him. He's out all of last season with a foot injury. I don't know. It's kind of hard to know what to expect from him because of last season. So maybe it's worth giving him a shot. I don't know if I would do it. I don't know if right now's the time for that, considering I'd like to win now. I'd like to get a solid wide receiver 3 right now. AB. That's my number one receiver I would love to get right now. I don't see it happening because I think he's really happy with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. And, why leave now? They just won. But he's friends with Russell. They trained together. We were one of the only teams interested in him. Like, I feel like we would have gotten him if the Bucks, if they weren't an option. Like, you know what I mean? If Brady was still in New England and Belichick said no. If it was just us, I think we would have gotten him, but sadly the Bucks stole him from us. But yeah, I'd love to see AB, Lockett, and DK. I think that'd be great. And Corey Davis, he just had a good season, but he's also had a lot of opportunities to have a good season. So I don't know if he's really established himself yet. I think he'll get paid just based off this last season, though. Also, but let's not act like AJ Brown wasn't helping him because he had years without AJ Brown. To be fair, those years were with Marcus Mariota, who, while I love, has been deemed it's not very good anymore. So maybe he stepped it up because Tannehill, but maybe he also stepped it up because AJ Brown takes all the attention from the DBs. And then Nelson Aguilar is there too. It's been a joke his whole career, sad to say. There was a video of the Philadelphia guy. He was saying he was catching the babies, like unlike Aguilar, who couldn't catch any balls. But yeah, he just had a great year on the Raiders. So I bet he'll get paid somewhere. Not paid a ton, but get a decent contract somewhere because he can contribute now. But it won't be with us probably. And then someone I think is a real option just got cut today, Golden Tate. Bring him back to Seattle. That'd be awesome. We really could use a guy like that in the slot who can break tackles, more shifty, more agile. I think that'd be awesome. I'd love to see Golden Tate back on the Seahawks. So my top 3 options for receiver, probably in order, I would say Antonio Brown. Not sure if I see it happening, though. And then between John Ross and Golden Tate, those are 2 and 3, but they're interchangeable, I think, because maybe John Ross more at 2 because he's younger and has a lot of potential. I'd love to see him come back on the Seahawks. Tight end. Now, this is a weird position because Disley 2 seasons ago, before he got hurt, I thought he could be a tight end 1. I thought we found our guy there, and I was really excited because Seattle's kind of the place where tight ends go to die. It feels like lately. Like Jimmy Graham came here, career went straight down. Greg Olsen came here, his career was already kind of going down, but it's awful. We just saw that. So if Disley can be the guy, I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. So let's look at this free agency. There's a ton of good tight ends. Robert Tunyon. I love Robert Tunyon. It carried me in fantasy a couple times. Uh, I don't know though. I don't see it happening. I think he likes Green Bay. I think he likes A Rod. I don't blame him. Wins games there, catches a lot of touchdowns there. He'll probably stay there. Mo Alley Cox. That's a weird one for me because I don't know. I can't imagine that. It's also hard to tell because he was always competing with Jack Doyle and Trey Burton there in Indianapolis to see like his full potential. But I saw there was signs, and he's a free agent, so maybe give him a shot. Then again, Trey Burton. I don't see it happen. I don't know. I don't think he's very special. He Philly. He had a couple good plays last year with the Colts. But I bet he'll stay with the Colts because the Colts love their Eagles. We know that. Hunter Henry. That's someone I think would be pretty cool, but I don't really see it happening either. I think it'd be a nice option, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Then he hasn't been cut yet, so this isn't an official like recommendation. But I really think Jimmy Graham is gonna get cut because he's getting paid a decent amount, and it's not really worth it for them because like I wouldn't say they're rebuilding, but they got like a chance to become something. That defense is insane. They got good young pieces. I mean, yeah, good young pieces like David Montgomery, Darnell Mooney, and then a big young piece, Cole Kmet. Why do you have Jimmy Graham there if you just drafted Cole Kmet? I think they cut Jimmy Graham, save money, and get to see more of Cole Kmet. And also that Bears Saints game, Jimmy Graham catches a touchdown on the last play and literally leaves. Like he looked like he was sick of playing there in Chicago. Maybe if they get a quarterback, it would change. But I think he's getting cut, and I'd love to see him back in Seattle. Even though he dropped a lot of open balls, but he caught a lot of really nice catch, made a lot of really nice grabs. Jared Cook, he got released today. I could see that. I could see this. I don't know. He's old. He's not. I feel like I always see Jared Cook fumble. So he's not elite, obviously, but he might be a decent option for us. And then Jacob Hollister and Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen retired. Sorry, Jacob Hollister's an option. I love Jacob Hollister, but he's not a real tight end one. And then someone I really think might happen is Jordan Reed. I don't know if anyone remembers, but it was right after we signed Greg Olsen. We had like a tryout with Jordan Reed, we showed interest, and he's a free agent now after a decent year when he wasn't injured. He's always injured. I'm sorry, Jordan Reed, but you're very injury prone. On the Niners, so I think we'll give him a look. I really think we will. Gronk is a free agent, but there's zero way Gronk signs with the Seahawks. He definitely just wants to be with his Brady. And then a big tight end, Jonnu Smith. I would love Jonnu Smith. He just had a great breakout season with the Titans on a contract year, so good timing for him. I'd love to see him. He's faster than most tight ends. Decent run blocker, obviously, with Derrick Henry. So I think he'd be great. So I would say there's also Kyle Rudolph. Sorry, I forgot. He got cut yesterday. Kyle Rudolph is another option. I'm not crazy about him. I know Thielen and Diggs and Justin Jefferson take targets away from him, but he's been there I don't know how long, and I feel like I'd never seen him do anything special except for the occasional one-handed grab, which is cool and stuff, but he kind of just like slow. Kind of reminds me of Greg Olsen, a younger version. Another tight end in the monitor is Zack Ertz. There was rumors that we were involved in trade rumors, but I don't know. I explained that in a previous episode. I'm not crazy about Zack Ertz. I don't think he's too good. And Gerald Everett also is a free agent, so maybe that'd be nice. Get back with Shane Waldron, who he was with last season. And I think tight end's gonna be really important for us this year because I think Shane Waldron's offense is gonna really revolve around the play action of the tight end a lot. Maybe I'd say my top 3 options. Not sure in what order, but are Jonnu Smith, Jimmy Graham, assuming he gets cut. I'd really like to see Jimmy Graham back, and he's just some solid guys. Like Tanyan would be great. I don't think it's gonna happen. I wouldn't mind Jordan Reed. I think that might be worth a shot. And then also, I'm not really talking about drafts in this episode, but Brevin Jordan out of the U Miami. Ooh, I would love Brevin Jordan. I've watched a lot of Canes games. I would love Brevin Jordan in Seattle. So if I'm allowed to include Brevin Jordan, my top 3 options would be Brevin Jordan, Jonnu Smith, Jimmy Graham. Those are all kind of long shots, but it's more fun to idealize them. Now for running back, I really want to keep Chris Carson. I'd love to see us just pay him not too much, but I'd love to keep Chris Carson. I love him. I think he's the best trucking back in the league after Derrick Henry. But I don't know. I don't see it happening. I'm not sure how much Pete really values him, sadly. So I don't think he'll stay. Then there's Carlos Hyde. I wouldn't re-sign him. He was decent at times, but I don't really think he's an RB1, and I really hope we don't value him like that. Because Kenyon Drake, I think, is very overrated. He had, 4 years. I know Adam Gase ruined most of them, but like a lot of years of opportunities in Miami, didn't show anything. Had a couple good games as a Cardinal. Everyone freaked out. Drafted him early in fantasy. Not very good. Gurley, I wouldn't value Gurley. I don't think he has that much in the tank. I feel bad. He's like 2 years removed from being, or 2 or 3 years, I'm sorry, removed from being the offensive player of the year. Like I thought he could win MVP one of those seasons. He was insane. But his knees, I don't think he's got it anymore, sadly. And he's so young, it's a real shame. But I don't think he's had it. The only thing is, Pete, like we showed interest in him before he got drafted. Obviously, I bet everyone had interest in Todd Gurley before he got drafted. And then I think we were looking at him, we were monitoring it at least, when he got cut by the Rams. So maybe we're going to look at that. Mike Davis. I would love to see Mike Davis back in Seattle. I loved big old Mike. He's number 39, then number 27. I remember that lateral against the Eagles. I don't know. It was just a couple Mike Davis moments. He just had a great season. I can see us definitely bringing him back. Adrian Peterson, AP. I love AP. I don't think he's going to sign with us because while we are a contender, I think he wants to go to a real, like, a seriously good team. I bet he'll go to the Chiefs or the Bucks, or I think the Bucks probably where he's going. Probably wants to be with Brady anyways. Go get a ring and end the career on a high note. Aaron Jones, he's probably gonna get paid a lot of money. I don't think we're gonna do it. I wouldn't be mad. I'd like Aaron Jones, obviously, in Seattle, but I don't think it's gonna happen because I don't know. I can't see us really paying a running back as much as Aaron Jones deserves at this point. Then Jamal Williams, the other Packers running back, I don't think we're gonna pay him. He's not gonna get paid. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not sure how confident I'd be in Jamal Williams starting. Marlon Mack, he could be a good option. I could also see that happening because he's kind of that trucking back, and he's obviously not re-signing with the Colts because JT has really taken that spot. JT's a beast, by the way. I really wish we drafted him, even though I love you, Jordan Brooks. But yeah, I think Marlon Mack's a real option there. I think we probably look at him. Le'Veon Bell, no. I don't think he's got much left, sadly. I feel like also that Steelers run game is kind of a system almost. Like I remember Bell went down a couple years back. D'Angelo Williams popped off. The whole James Conner thing, even though James Conner is not very good anymore. James Conner's also on my list. I really don't want James Conner. I don't think he's been very good the past 2 seasons. Devontae Freeman's an option. Don't see it happening. Fournette, I think we're gonna definitely make an attempt at Fournette. It's just a question if he is like many and wants to stay with Brady. I remember he was originally supposed to sign with us this past offseason, actually, but then at the last second he signed with the Bucks. And then Tevin Coleman's there. Don't see that happening either. Lesean McCoy, he's probably going to retire or just sign with some other contender and get another ring for doing nothing. It's Philip Lindsay. I don't know, it doesn't fit us at all. And Lamar Miller doesn't fit either. He was a free agent, but we signed him. Alex Collins. I love Alex Collins. So that's that, but he's obviously not the running back one. Now, let's get into defense. Actually, sorry. I'm going to cover my top running backs would probably be, I would say, Fournette. I love Fournette. Oh, no, Chris Carson's number 1 if I'm allowed to include him. I'd really hope we keep Chris Carson. But it'd be Chris Carson, Fournette, probably Mike Davis as the top 3. I also like take into account that I'm saying who I expect us to sign, because I don't think we're going to be signing Aaron Jones as great as he is, as much as I'd like to see him in a Seahawks uni. I don't think we're going to sign him. So, yeah, I'll say Chris Carson, Fournette, Mike Davis is the big 3, assuming we don't get a rookie like Chuba or some other guys that I'll cover in a different episode. Now, defense. Ooh, there's some nice defensive free agents this year. Positions of need are corner, because Shaquille Griffin's a free agent. So is Dunbar. And I really don't think Shaquille should be brought back. I think he's instantly overrated, as I have brought up before. So yeah, corner. This is a play alongside the stud that is DJ Reed. Another linebacker because I think KJ is going to be gone, but you never know. A D tackle because I think that I think Jaron Reed is going to get traded or cut even unless we restructure him. So we'll see how that happens. And also Puna's a free agent, but we're going to resign Puna. I'm not worried about that. And then maybe another edge rusher, be on the other side of Dunlap, or if we get rid of Dunlap, which I do not want to see happen, but you never know. With corner, it's Pat Pete, the stud. He's not as good as he used to be, but you know it's Pat Pete. But he's more of a man corner. Doesn't really fit us. I'm not expecting that. Darques Dennard, I haven't been following him much lately. I don't really see it happening either. I think he was in the. I'm not sure what team he was on. I remember when he was on the Bengals. I'm not sure what team he was on last season, but I don't think he's very good anymore. There's Josh Norman. I absolutely hate Josh Norman. Hate's a strong word. I cannot stand Josh Norman. He really bothers me. He's really loud and annoying and cocky, and I don't like him. Mackenzie Alexander, I like him a lot. Good year on the Bengals when he danced after he picked off Big Ben. That was hilarious. Play wasn't even over yet, so you know I like Mackenzie Alexander. William Jackson III, another Bengal corner who's a free agent that I'd like to see. I think that'd be nice. Kevin King. I don't want to get near Kevin King after that NFC Championship game. Nice UW Husky, but no thanks. Xavier Rhodes could be solid, but I don't see it happening. He's a little too old for what we want right now. Sidney Jones, another UW guy. He's not too good anymore though, or not. I don't know if anymore. I don't know if he's ever that good. J.C. Jackson, probably the best corner I'm gonna name here. He'd be a stud. I don't see it happening. I bet he'll just stay in New England, honestly. But yeah, he'd be great. Charvarius Ward. He's young. He's good. Same thing goes for Brashad Breeland, but I don't see either of those happening. Darius Williams. Now that, I guess he kind of played man last year, especially because Ramsey's focused on man and shadowing. But other than being Russell's favorite receiver of the past season, he was a stud, and I'd like to see him on the Seahawks. So that'd be kind of cool. Troy Hill, he's Rams nickel, so I don't see us signing him unless he's could play out wide, but I'm not sure about that. Jason McCourty, he's decent. Brian Poole, he's decent. Mike Hilton, again, decent. Quentin Dunbar, I'd like to give him another chance. I think when he was fully healthy, he's pretty good, but he was not really healthy most of the season. Shaquille, I kind of brought him up earlier. Don't want him back. Jason Verrett, I think that'd be awesome to see Jason Verrett. I think I love his story. I think I hope he can become a stud. He's been hurt like his entire career, but I think he can turn it up. Desmond King, he's another nickel guy, so I don't think we're going to sign him, but he's solid. Ronald Darby is meh. Fabian Moreau, he's decent. And then Nickel Roby Coleman, I think. I forget. Sorry. Another nickel guy. I don't see it happening. And then Richard Sherman, the free agent Richard Sherman. Who is Richard Sherman? I don't know much about that guy, but I'd like to see him on the Seahawks. I would love that reunion. They said today that both sides, the Seahawks and Sherman, are not fully opposed to a reunion. And imagine Sherman back in the blue and green, number 25. That would be so sick, especially with our new secondary. And be Sherman with the new 29 that is DJ Reed, and then the stud safety combo we have with Quandre and Jamal. I'd love to see Sherman back. My top options ranked would probably be Sherman. I'd say Sherman at 1, Darius Williams at 2, and Quentin Dunbar at 3, honestly. I'd like to see Quentin Dunbar come back. I'd like to give him another shot. So yeah, Sherman. Really hope we bring Sherman back. Linebackers. KJ's a free agent. He said he wants to stay in Seattle, but he doesn't want a hometown discount. So, I don't see it happening because he's going to want too much money. And he's old. He's kind of old. He's super slow and he can't catch. I don't know if I want that. Options at inside linebacker for coverage linebackers. Sorry, Malcolm Smith. He's still solid. I'm still mad he won Super Bowl MVP because it's a waste. We had such an amazing roster of Hall of Famers, and Malcolm Smith won it. He had a great game. Congrats on him. But yeah, Sean Lee. if we get him, he's gonna be warming up the IR spot. I'm sorry, Sean Lee. I don't think you're really worth it. AJ Johnson, I like him. I think he's really underrated. Maybe I'd like to see him. Denzel Perryman, love him. He'd be cool to bring back. Uh, uh, Nathan Jerry from the Eagles, he's solid. Uh, and then obviously Levante David, a beast. I'd love to see Levante David on the Seahawks. And then a really underrated pick that nobody's talking about is Reuben Foster. I know he had a lot of legal trouble a couple seasons ago, but I think he'd be a stud. Imagine bringing Reuben Foster off for a cheap deal, trying him out. I think it'd be great. Great to see that. There's also Jaron Brown from the Titans. He's solid. But yeah, my top options would definitely be Levante David. He might be a little expensive, but I think he's a stud. Levante David. Ooh. Levante David. Reuben Foster. I think the Reuben Foster experiment, I'm going to call it, could be amazing. Denzel Perryman. Those are my top three. And then AJ Johnson, honorable mention at 4 because I think he's a stud too. Defensive tackle, not as big of a need because I think we'll re-sign Puna and Jerron Reed might stay. But there's Shelby Harris. He's good. Nice long arms. They'd always say it during games. Swap balls. Mike Daniels is decent. Snacks Harrison. I don't want him back on the Seahawks. I call him Snakes for a reason. Sheldon Rankins, he wasn't amazing so far up to this point in his career, but might be worth a shot. Ndamukong Suh, that'd be sick. I'd like to see Ndamukong Suh on the Seahawks, but I don't see it happening either. I'd probably want to stay in Tampa Bay like everyone else. Solomon Thomas, that'd be a big signing. I don't know how solid he is. I know he tore his ACL this past season, but he's decent. And then Stephen McClendon, he's in the Bucks. Probably want to stay there too, but he's decent. So Puna and Jerron Reed, I'd like to keep it that way, honestly. Restructure Jerron Reed's contract. But I don't know, some good options. Sheldon Rankins would be nice. Solomon Thomas would be great. Ndamukong Suh. So yeah. And then edge rushers. This is where we can have some fun. Hopefully Dunlap stays and we have a guy on the opposite side because I don't think Benson's really the future. It's Hassan Reddick. He had a great breakout season this past year. He's a free agent. I'd like to look at him. It'd be sick if we got him. Marcus Golden, another guy, another ex-Cardinal. I think he could be a beast. Matt Judon, not crazy about him. I've seen a lot of Ravens fans say that he's pretty overrated. Don't want to see that. Unique Ngakoue, I really wanted him last season, so I don't know. That'd be cool to see. Olivier Vernon, sorry. He's pretty old, a former Kane. I don't know. I don't see that happening. Shaq Lawson, yeah, just had a decent year. Not crazy. Alden Smith had a great year, or great for his standards for being in hibernation for I don't know how long. I wasn't sure if he was alive for a little bit, and then he came out of nowhere. So congrats to him. Everson Griffin, he's still decent. Leonard Floyd just had a great year, but those numbers are a bit spiked because he has to play us 3 times. So he's getting sacks on Russell very often. Ziggy Ansah, former Hawk, didn't really go well. Don't see it happening. Bud Dupree, solid. Probably going to get paid more than we can afford. Trey Hendrickson, he could be someone to look at. I don't know. I think he's solid. But I don't know. He might get paid a lot because of all the sacks he got. And then Ryan Kerrigan, almost tried trading for him, I think. Or at least I wanted us to trade for him. So he's gonna get paid a little bit. Shaq Barrett, stud. He's definitely gonna get paid unless he takes a discount for the Bucks. And then the clown that is Jadeveon Clowney. And while he's a clown for leaving and going to get money in Tennessee and getting 0 sacks in the year, as many sacks as me and you did, I love Clowney. He's too exciting to watch to not want him back. Sadly, I'd love to see Clowney back on the Seahawks. My top options would be Clowney, which that's definitely a lot of bias because he's not even close to the best guy out of the ones I listed. Hassan Reddick, Shaq Barrett, Ryan Kerrigan, Unique Ngakoue, even Leonard Floyd. I don't know. A lot of these guys are much better than Clowney, but I love Clowney. Even though he doesn't get sacks, I think he does a lot that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. I think he's a beast in the run game. We saw it. If you were paying attention, you saw Clowney. Even though he only got 3 sacks, 3.5, whatever with us, he made a big difference in our defense that year, and I would really love to see him come back. So my top options are Clowney, Shaq Barrett, even though I don't see it happening, Hassan Reddick, and Ryan Kerrigan. So yeah, that's all I got for today for free agents from other teams I'd like to see. Uh, I don't have high expectations because Pete and John really they're not too aggressive in free agency, so I don't really. They usually just sit back for the scraps. I don't see too many big moves happening, but I'd love to see like just Sherman, Reuben Foster, and Clowney. That'd be a very exciting offseason for me. A lot of that's personal biasy and just fan favorites of mine, but I think it'd be great, really cool to bring them back here, Clowney and Sherman. That is. So yeah, we're probably gonna sign one big-ish name and then get a ton of no names as the other positions. But you know what? Russ is applying the pressure on the Pete and John finally, so you never know. A change might be on the way. Change is gonna come. Sam Cooke, great song. Anyways, but yeah, those are the free agents I want. Comment below, depending on what platform you are, any free agents I forgot to mention, or any ones you agree with or disagree with that you want to see on the Seahawks, that you wouldn't want to see on the Seahawks. And also just comment what you want to see in further podcasts and further episodes. Anyways, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching / listening, depending on what you did. Anyways, have a nice day, you guys. Thank you. Bye.